And the name of the book is The Trouble with Gramarye. And when I was informed that I had won this award for The Trouble with Gramarye, nobody could find me because I was in the barn all the time because my sheep were having lambs. Besides being a writer, I'm a farmer, and usually my farm chores occupy me for anywhere from 1 to 3 hours every morning, and then again in the late afternoon. Farming absorbs me enormously, especially during lambing time. I feed, I clean out, I tend at lambing, I see that the lambs get a good start in life. When I sell them, I see that they are going to be sold to people who will take care of them properly. When I talk, I very often talk to the dogs because I could not get my chores done without them. So I use my dogs all the time, and I also, for fun and for companionship, go to sheepdog trials and compete a little bit with other people who have sheepdogs, and maybe they have dairy farms and maybe they have sheep farms, and train their dogs to compete in sheepdog trials. This is just sheer fun. That's all there is to that. That's the recreation. The wonderful thing about farming is that if you're a writer and you've gone out to the barn and to the fields for 1, 2, 3 hours in the morning, and you come back into the house, you can go to your typewriter, and there's nothing, your head is cleared, your feelings are not tranquilized, but somehow put in order so that you can give all of your attention to the book. It may be that while I was cleaning out for an hour, shoveling manure into a wheelbarrow and emptying it into the manure pile, maybe that I was thinking of the book all the time, writing dialogue, changing a situation, worrying about the pace in a particular chapter, or how I could cut something down that seemed too long. I do a lot of problem solving like that when I'm in the barn. But there's nobody to talk to but the sheep and the dogs, so I do very little talking. And it's very quiet, and it's very peaceful. Even when it's intense and even when it's hard work, it's peaceful. And so off I go to my typewriter, and that's when the writing gets going. Everybody says it's sort of a cliche that writing is a very solitary occupation. And that's true that writing is, and I love being alone. Being alone meaning with my sheep and my dogs and my ducks and my chickens. I also love being with my family and my friends. And it has become very clear to me over the years that while the actual writing is very solitary, that writing a book and producing a book is a joint effort of many, many people, and that I am beholden to people, always beholden to my husband, who read The Trouble with Gramarye before it was sent to the publisher, and who made his comments, which I probably argued about and then responded to by making various little changes. To my children, to other children's book authors, there is a community of children's book writers in the Boston area. We support one another in many, many ways. If somebody's having trouble with writing a book or with a publisher, we get together, we talk about it, we're helpful, we care. We want each other to succeed, to feel good about what we're writing, and to have success with the books. And it's a marvelous community of people who are not competitive with one another. I'm also enormously beholden to my most gifted editor, Susan Hirschman, and my publisher, and to my agent, for support in many, many ways. I think that a writer's relationship with an editor is an extraordinary relationship, and ours has been wonderful for me. And this book The Trouble with Grammary is dedicated, among others, to my editor, Susan Hirschman, and in memory of her husband, Paul. Oh yes, and the other people that I feel very beholden to as a writer are the teachers whose students I talk to in schools, who put books into their hands that they would not otherwise see, and to all those librarians all over the country who do the same thing. There is nothing that will happen to my book, or to many books, if it's not for the intercession of librarians who care about literature and care about kids and know that, especially in this day and age, kids are not going to get hold of real books unless unless an effort is made to place them in children's hands. It's really, it's a sense of gratitude I have to all librarians and teachers that I cannot begin to express. I just want to say a word about the book, The Trouble with Grammary. The Trouble with Grammary is about family, and it's about community, and most of all, I think it's about change. The change that happens in families and happens in communities, especially in our culture, in our society, and that happens to individuals, to all of us. And in part, it's about how an individual can stand up to change or to respond to change in individual, special, unique ways. It's also about the kind of change over which we have no control, the ultimate change for all of us being that of death and loss through death. And it's because the book is about that that I feel particularly moved and honored to receive the Judy Lopez Award. I think it's wonderful that her family established this foundation to celebrate her life, to honor her. And I feel honored to join in that celebration with a book that celebrates life and that describes death and loss, caringly, I hope, and effectively, I hope. It makes me particularly sad not to be there to meet Judy's parents and Judy's daughter. I feel close to all of you. I feel thankful to all of you in the Women's National Book Association who honored the Judy Lopez through the foundation, and I feel enormously honored and grateful to be the recipient of the Judy Lopez Foundation Award with The Trouble of Grammary. Thank you.